1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it, my words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it, you know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly, we ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up. Yeah. Come on. Hey.
It's December 8th, 2022, and you're listening to episode 314 of the PHP Ugly podcast. We are three real-world developers who make a living every day with the PHP programming language, and we get together on a weekly basis around 9 p.m. Pacific Coast time and just kind of talk about things, talk about where the PHP community is, talk about our life, what we've been working on, and anything that comes to mind. You too can be part of that conversation by joining us in our Discord channel at discord.phpugly.com, where the three of us and a bunch of our listeners hang out during the show and all week and just chat. I am your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me tonight is John Congdon.
Hello, hello.
And Time Right Out.
Hey, I'm alive.
We do have sponsors, honeybadger.io and Cloudways, who we'll get to, as well as our Patreon supporters, who we'll talk more about later in the show.
It sounds like Eric needs some of that lemonade.
Yeah, a little low energy.
So, if we hang out in our Discord all week with our listeners, as I said in the intro, but Tom is also part of the PHP Architect company Slack channel. And Tom pops into our Slack channel and says, I need to talk about Panera Lemonade this week. Just be prepared.
Just be prepared.
So,
if they were going to be a sponsor, I'm throwing them under the bus.
all right. Let's hear it. What's going on with Panera Lemonade?
Well, I went to the hospital on Saturday. Thought I was having a heart attack. Thankfully, turns out I wasn't having a heart attack. But I had to sort of go through my day. It was a massive panic attack. My whole body really just revolted. So I went through my day, like what I had done previously, and tried to figure out what was going on, and remembered drinking charged lemonade at Panera, which they advertise as a caffeinated lemonade.
So that's the thing. Like caffeinated, that's the whole selling point. It's a caffeinated.
Apparently.
Lemonade. Okay.
So their soda machine was down, and all they had was lemonade and coffee, and I didn't want coffee, so I had lemonade. And Did some digging into it. Over a period of about a half an hour, I had 800 milligrams of caffeine, which translates roughly to 7 or 8 Red Bulls. It is
Sounds like that would be a lot.
Unpleasant. Yeah, it is an unpleasant amount. The large cup that you can buy at Panera is on its own 400 milligrams of caffeine, which is like a crazy, stupid, and dangerous amount of caffeine.
And you
lemonade.
Had 2 of those.
Basically, yeah.
You were a thirsty boy, yeah.
I was very thirsty, and I didn't think for any reason that Panera would poison me with caffeine, but turns out it did. So, thankfully, not a heart attack. All my tests came back good and happy and everything, but very upset to have a hospital bill because Panera decided to caffeinate their lemonade more than any other energy drink on the market.
So you can't be the only person this would have happened to. So I'm surprised it's not a bigger deal.
Me too. Like some sort of class action.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm looking into that. There are other people. There are other people who have been hospitalized because of it, and the people who worked at the Panera where they were starting this rollout, this test market, warn all of the customers that this stuff is dangerously highly caffeinated. But yeah, they sell it to kids. They don't mention anything about how extremely high the caffeine content is. So now I'm on a whole no caffeine kick right now.
Eric, you see what I'm drinking out of? I love this Yeti cup.
What? Where'd you get that? Look at that! That is so nice. Where'd you get such a nice nice Yeti cup there, John?
Some awesome co-host of mine picked it up. Although I noticed this is missing something underneath of that.
Oh,
you didn't do. Yeah. So we started talking about our new tagline that we've been putting on the elephant, and we've been using it more. I'm a PHP architect, and I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I'm surprised you didn't put that on there because that was your thing. You came up with that.
Yeah, these are kind of. I was kind of mocking it up. I really wanted to see more of what the elephant looked like in the back, and I only ordered a couple of these, so yeah, I don't know.
I think it looks good. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I've been using it daily.
Yeah, me too. It's my new favorite, my new go-to. Not to dismiss your struggle this week, Tom. We're happy you're okay. Yeah.
Just no more caffeine for me. That's all.
No more. No more Panera. Are you boycotting Panera now, or?
I'm definitely have to go back there one more time to photograph the display for the lemonade for legal purposes.
Gotcha.
But
all right. Well, what about you, John? How was your week?
Mostly good, except for this morning at 6 a.m. being, called into an emergency issue where code that I wrote went live last night. Went through all the testing, everyone signed off on it, and it was good. Except there was this weird Boolean conversion, because we're still not good with static typing in some places, especially in our templates, where I screwed up. Basically, I ended up switching from 0, 1 values to using an enum of on, off, and partial. I needed a third option, so Boolean didn't work anymore. And forgot to change one place in a template, which didn't really affect anything other than people's perception. They're making phone calls. They don't have recording enabled, but because of this flag, a button showed up that said stop recording. So now they think their calls are being recorded, even though they weren't. and it was like, what's going on? Get in here. We need to figure this out. Like, do we revert or figure it out? And luckily, it was an easy fix.
This is how conspiracy theories start, where like someone says, "Oh, did you know Phone Burner records every single call secretly?"
Thanks. No, we do not. I can tell you for a fact, no, we do not.
There's nothing secret about it.
It was a frustrating thing. But outside of that, the rest of the week was good. Doing a lot more live code reviews where getting into Zoom with somebody that's doing the code review and just walking through, especially when it's a rather large feature change. And I'm finding that very beneficial. So recommend trying it, especially with our team, getting in and trying that out. And then today we did a bug squashing session, opened 4 simple PRs just to get rid of these bugs that are going into Honey Badger. It's like, don't need those anymore.
So back to your live code review.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work? Like you do the review of somebody else's code and you both just jump on a Zoom call or something?
Right. So this was my PR, which was like 50, 60 files. And I asked somebody else to do a code review of it, got into Zoom with him. And like, he just has a broad understanding of what I'm doing. He starts going through and, just picking things out like, oh, maybe this would be better somewhere else, or maybe we should name this different. Oh, I like what you did here. Pros and the positives and negatives, like things that should change, but also should be some like, oh, this was a good change, or I like what you did here, or some sort of something where the person who wrote the code doesn't feel like everything is negative. Because I've been in those code reviews too, and it sucks. I'm that type of code reviewer. When I review other people's code, it's like it's either looks good to me or everything is terrible. Get rid of it.
I've been having trouble with that lately too.
I guess, well, going back to that live code review, which I kind of like the concept of, but I mean, I don't know, man. I find my like windows to do code review to be very precious time, precious little slivers of time in my day. And like the idea of assuming that the person's code I'm reviewing is going to have that same free time to kind of go through everything seems like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely not for every PR. It really should be for ones that they're rather big, and you're, instead of somebody going back and leaving 30, 40, 50 comments throughout it, you can sit down and have a conversation. Like maybe there's a question of, well, why'd you do it this way? And if you can explain why, maybe there's no comment to be left or nothing to change.
Yeah. I've thought about even like just firing up Zoom or in Slack, just getting a what they call it, hangout huddle, getting a huddle going, and just sharing my screen all day long, and like basically like a Twitch stream for the internal company, so that anybody who wants to jump on and pair program with me, or maybe they're working on something while I'm working on something, and we're just talking to each other, or I don't know. I just kind of, I've done that with Frank, and I do that occasionally. We'll do this pair program, do these pair programming sessions together, and it's just, I don't know, it's just like a good little feeding off of each other and talking through things, and I like it a lot. But I don't know, I go back and forth on it, whether like, am I more productive as a group? Are we more productive? Like when it's Frank and I, are we both still being as equally productive, or are we not? I don't know. I keep going back and forth on it. I like the idea, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a change, and change is hard.
Yeah. You
So,
said you had some issues with code reviews, Tom. What was that?
Yeah, it's like I have to get myself into a really specific mental state to do a code review. And like sometimes I think I'm there. I'm like ready to do a code review, pull it up, start going through it, and then just sort of like feel myself lazing off of it, and then like okay, put it on hold, go back to it in a little bit. But it's just I don't want to just run through it and not notice anything that could be a potential big problem. So I've definitely approved stuff where I went back to it later and went, I should have put some comments in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
how was your week, Eric?
It was good, John. You know what I did a good chunk of my week?
What is that?
I reviewed talk submissions.
That was a lengthy process.
It was
But
very lengthy.
I came out of it like during it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is too much. This is taking way too long." But came out of it so excited for tech and the presentations that look to be shaping up. We tried doing something different. We got a bunch of people in there doing rating the sessions. So we're trying to get an average of what everyone likes instead of you and I just going through and picking what we would want to see. But still super excited for how it seems to be shaping up.
And what's funny, somebody else had mentioned it in our Slack channel. So we've done a couple of rounds of kind of this review of submissions. Our first one, I think we talked about thumbs up, thumbs down. This one was like this. It gave you 3 talks, and you kind of weighed which talk. You'd want to see this one, then this one, then this one, or any combination of those. Or you could do one here and 2 twos or whatever. You have this. You had this system, and as you're going through it, it says, "Hey, you're 10% done. You're 11% done," and then like you get up to like 90%, and all of a sudden you're back down to 88%, and then you're 92%, then you're 89%, and 91, 92, 91, 92, 93, 91. I'm like, come on! I felt like I was like, then I was like, all right, what answer do you want? What answer are you looking for?
All in all, we have 4 different types of talks that we're kind of weighing out. There's the general 1-hour session. That's the biggest one that has the most talks. So we're focusing there. And it was over 2 hours of just going through all of the sessions and basically taking the 3 talks, and they're playing a game. Who's going to win? First, second, third. And they're actually getting rated behind the scenes. Whatever you pick as your first place goes up some number of points in relation to the other talks it's against. So whatever their current scores are, if it's way high, if your first place is way higher than the other one, it only goes up a tiny bit. But if they're really close together and it's the winner, it goes up more. It's a chess rating system. It's very interesting. But I think what was the reason the percentages were going down is as you rated some, the scores would change to where more talks had the same rating. So now we have to split those up. So all in all, there was more to be done.
Yeah, I figured it was something like that. Like I said, I was just like, just tell me what you want. I will vote for that. I just want to be done. Yeah. But so be aware, you've been warned. Blind Early Bird Special will be going away shortly. We're starting to go through the talks. We're going to start picking some speakers. The moment we do that, then we're going to go to Early Bird and then eventually full price. So be aware of that. You have, if you're working for a company, especially if you think your company is going to send a couple of people, let them know. Say, hey, we really need to try to get this done before it goes away, before this price goes away. So you have been warned. All right.
There's been some other exciting news this week, huh?
There has.
What?
I think this is Eric's card. I'll let him say it.
Oh, don't let Eric say he'll tease it for a half an hour.
No, he won't.
And then he'll say we'll do it next episode.
So we've all been
Twas the night before Christmas.
PHP 8.2 is officially released. And
You might want to say that again because I think you blew everybody out.
Did I? PHP 8.2 is released. All right, I'll be a little nicer this time. And I guess this is something that they've been doing for a while here. Let me keep it close up. They've been doing these really nice release pages, which I did not know that this was something they were doing. Somebody said, yeah, they've been doing this ever since 8 was released. But yeah, these are nice. So they do show you some of the examples of some of the higher level things that have been released in 8.2. We can kind of go through them. I don't know if there's any particular thing that anybody's really that excited about, but read-only classes is kind of the big thing that everybody's talking about. So if you have a bunch of properties that you're setting to read only, you can now just name the whole class read only and not worry about it anymore. So
how long has it taken you guys to upgrade, and what are you upgrading from to get to 8.2? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I'm on 8.
8.0 or 8.1?
8.0.
And are you marching towards 8.2, or are you not worrying about it right this minute?
We're on a slow march towards it. You know, we're making progress on it. It's just we sort of abandoned 8.1 because we got so far into the year with it without deploying it to our system. So we just said, screw it, we'll go to 8.2. We'll just make the jump. But I haven't really looked at the deprecations yet or any of the backwards compatibility issues. So I'm not sure what's going to be a blocker quite yet.
Well, fortunately for you, we have links for that. We'll get to those.
Yeah, so we're in the process of going from 7.4 to 8.2. And I'm shocked to see some that are like, oh, we just upgraded, no problem. And to see everything that we're going through.
You mean liars? You're frustrated by liars?
Liars, or is it more it's working but you don't know what's broken type of thing, right? Our biggest issue right now is dynamic properties. And being an older code base, if you wanted something new on a object, you're like, this, whatever, and didn't necessarily declare it. So that's been a huge blocker / thing that needed to be fixed. And I don't know if it was a has to, or we're just trying to get everything cleaned up before upgrading.
You know that's deprecated, right?
Right. But I think I talked about it before. Deprecation warnings, or any warning in general, slows your web page down quite a bit. Like, we gain so much performance by getting rid of most of these things.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I talked about it 4 or 5 weeks ago. We had this weird.
Don't remember that at all.
We just had this big improvement in page speed, and we didn't know why for a long time. And it was like went from over 200 milliseconds per request down to like 170. And it turns out it was a lot of these optimizations. And when I was talking to the person that's mainly responsible for kind of pushing us towards 8.2, it made a lot of sense. every time a warning is thrown, it goes through the error handler, which has to figure out your stack trace, and it does all this extra processing before just returning back to where it was, so that it can log everything to your error log. So all of that takes memory, time, and just by cleaning it up, you're going to improve your page speed. I say all
I didn't
that.
know that.
I say all that to say we're taking a long time to get to 8.2, but the improvement in the code base has been phenomenal, because working really hard on PHP Stand to improve the type safety, make sure the code is cleaner. It's been a good upgrade. It's just taking way longer than I would have liked. When I hear other people are just like, I threw 8.2 out and it's working fine.
Yeah, that's why I like my little Greenfield apps, because I just keep throwing the latest and greatest on there. I mean, both Laravel and PHP. It's nice.
Well, related to that, Larry Garfield posted in Mastodon, which I've been loving, by the way. You set up phparch.social,
Mhm.
and I've been liking that way more than I've liked Twitter in the past. But he's bringing up a very similar question of what is stopping people, or why are people frustrated with the change? His thing is he did the update and it wasn't a big deal. And then you got people like MLOP or Matthew Garofini saying it's because we're being kind of forced to upgrade quicker. We don't have like long-term support.
Right.
It was an interesting thread.
Yeah, I mean it's a real thing, right? We've talked about this with Laravel for years, but you know the especially if you're in a big enterprise, upgrading is not that easy to do. It's not a very quick process. Putting patches down is not a quick process, and upgrading is even a more challenging process, especially when you have backwards breaking changes. So the fact that like 7 came and went so quickly, it was like, wow, you know, this is challenging. I mean, this is challenging for people in big organizations and big companies. Yeah, I mean, I feel the pain. It's always great. I mean, we heard it in the Laravel world for years from people. I don't understand why people complain about how fast Laravel releases. I don't have a problem. My little homepage, I can upgrade it every week. It's like, yeah, okay, great for you. You don't have a big ass application with a lot of moving parts in it.
Right.
Yeah, or a million users.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think in yeah, I think it's this is where not having Zen around to have that company that you could pay to continue to support older versions of PHP for your company, I think is still one of those components missing in our world, in our little PHP ecosystem. Now, granted, not a whole lot of other languages have it either, not especially open source languages. This is really kind of one of these proprietary language sort of niches where say, oh yeah, we'll continue to support our older stuff. But yeah, it's, I don't know, man. It's a thing. It's really challenging. Really challenging to address.
I wonder what internals would think if a small team stepped up and said, "Hey, I will continue backporting security fixes into 7.4." Would they allow it to be officially
Isn't there
alive for another year?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, I would assume no. If it's officially dead and they're not accepting, like they're not, there may be somebody doing it outside of PHP and it's not going to make it into the official packages.
Right. Or better yet, what if a company stepped up and said, "Hey, we'll pay this much money a year if we can continue, if you guys can continue to support PHP 7 for another 2 years or something like that. I mean, I
Right.
think that would be really nice. We kind of skipped over a few other PHP 8.2 things. Disjunctive normal form. This one hurts my head, but I guess it's something we needed. So we talked about in the past we got union, and then we got intersection, and now we've combined it all together with disjunctive normal form. Do one of you want to try to explain this to me? I mean, I can explain it, but I'm not going to be very good at it.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
go ahead.
it's really just saying that you're expecting a parameter to be of this type and this type, so it needs to fulfill two different interfaces, for example, or some other type. Like maybe it has to be these two interfaces or this specific concrete class. The example you're showing here on the screen is it needs to be A or B. It needs to be one of these. It needs to be both of these interfaces or null.
Yeah.
I think the easiest example I can give is if you accept different types of currency. So your class, you have a class for US dollar, Canadian dollar, and British pound. And you accept those, it has to be money and it has to be one of those three.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Well, it actually can't work that way. It can't be one of those three because you can't have parentheses around your intersection.
No, but you can have A and B or A and C or A and D.
Gotcha.
Okay. So now we can return we can have a return type of false or true or null. Well, we've had null for a while, but yeah, we can now have a return type of false or true.
Well, we haven't had null. We've had void.
That's true. New random extension. I'm not really up to speed on this one or why it's so prevalent in this example, but yeah, we have a new random extension. Maybe it's more random than the other random was. I don't know.
So it is more random because if you have two instances of PHP running simultaneously, they'll actually reference the global random number generator versus this new random number generator, which is per instance.
Okay.
So that's a big thing in crypto.
We can now have constants and traits, which was one of those things like we didn't have this. Oh, okay.
This drove me nuts constantly.
So this is
No pun
kind
intended.
of more of a bug fix than a new feature, but sure. Deprecated dynamic properties, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, a bunch of other deprecated stuff. But one thing that I caught wind of, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. Is let me get this set up here. The sensitive parameter class. Now this, if I'm understanding this correctly, is pretty slick. So what this allows you to do is the example I always think of is like a login form where you have a username and a password. You can set the password field or the password variable as a sensitive parameter. And what that will do is the PHP engine will not allow for information leak into things like log files or error dumps or anything like that. If you say, hey, this parameter, this parameter right here is a sensitive parameter, so know that, and it will never accidentally put it in a log file or throw it up on a screen of on a dump.
It'll put it into a log file if you're using Logly. It wouldn't put it into a PHP error log file.
How would Logly catch it though? Because it's being caught at the PHP engine itself.
No, not Logly. I'm sorry. If you're using Monolog or something like that. So if you're logging your PHP error log to something like Logly it wouldn't. But if you're logging variables via a logger like monolog, unless it knows not to output sensitive variables, it's going to. Right? It doesn't know. At that point, PHP can't say no. It's you're saying I want this in a log.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's if you can add support for sensitive stuff to your logging software.
Well, it's going to depend on how you're logging it, right? If you put it into a string, then there's nothing stopping that. Then your logger is just outputting a string that includes sensitive information.
But can
That's
I
dumb on you.
Right, but can I check if a variable is an instance of sensitive parameter and not log it somewhere else? I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. All right.
I had not heard about that one, so good find. I want to learn more.
Excited about that one. Okay, let's take a moment and pay some bills. First, we're going to talk about Cloudways, who's been a sponsor of ours for on and off for a couple of years. So here they are, Cloudways.
This video is brought to you by Cloudways. We are all developers and love to write code, but managing the servers that code runs on can be a time-consuming and error-prone process. Cloudways helps you spend less time managing your servers and more time doing what you really want to do, coding. You only need one account to manage servers on multiple platforms and for multiple customers. Pick just the server size and location that makes the most sense for you and your customers. You can even estimate your costs for your server before spinning it up. Cloudways offers peace of mind and flexibility so you can focus on growing your business instead of dealing with server management. With Cloudways, you get an optimized stack, managed servers, backups, a staging environment, integrated Git, pre-configured Composer, 24/7 support, and a choice of 5 different cloud providers: Amazon Web Services, DigitalOcean, Linode, Google Cloud, and Vultr. Get a discount of 20% for 3 months using the code PHPARCH. Check them out today.
Thank you, Cloudways.
Cloudways.
Yes. We were talking earlier about how much our Discord kind of contributes to the show and contributes to just our knowledge in general. And just before the show started, A-Woods in Discord just bought his ticket to PHP Tech 2023. So everybody knows he'll be in Chicago at that time. If you know where he lives, you can rob his house. No, that would be bad. Don't do that. But maybe join him in Chicago, and that would be awesome. But A-Woods shared with us a site, a GitHub repo he came across on github.io that talks about the backwards incompatibility changes between version to version of PHP. This is pretty cool. So who was talking about that? Tom, you were saying something, right? You weren't even sure what was deprecated?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this might be what you need to look at, my friend. Although it doesn't really talk about deprecation as much as, well, backwards incompatibility. I mean, I don't know. What's the difference, right?
Well, deprecation means it still works, but you're going to get logs about it.
It's more of that's true.
It's going to break in the future.
Yeah. So thanks for that, A-Woods. I do appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to give you credit for your other link because I already had that in my Trello board, and I'm hoping we get to it. But yeah, I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit for that one. And if you're listening to the podcast, or if this is your first time watching the podcast, everything we talk about, we have in a Trello board. It'll pop up a lot of times on Discord. So if you're in our Discord channel, the links will show up. You can click on them and you can go to them. But also, we'll add it to our show notes after the video. We add it to the YouTube channel. So I'll go back. I have a little script that kind of produces the show notes. You can always go back to the YouTube channel, probably tomorrow. I'll get to it tonight. But if there was something you heard that you didn't get the link for, or you're not in our Discord, come back to the channel tomorrow, and it will be in the description along with all of our Patreon supporters and all that. So it's there for you.
Speaking of our Discord channel, there was a fun link shared. If PHP were British, alone on a hill. And
I love this one.
It was a fun read. Like, it would be more sophisticated. We would use sterling instead of the $sign, and the namings, like, we would use proper names, color with a U. Like, it was.
I love the we wouldn't use echo, we would use announce.
My favorite was instead of MySQL Connect, it would be My Structured Query Language Connect.
Oh, I didn't even catch that one.
No abbreviations. So
yeah.
I brought this up, one, because it was a funny article, but it spurs on conversation within Discord, which is so much fun. And then you start to have people jumping in and saying, oh, you could write a PHP extension that would parse that, and Sarah was saying, do a lesson RHP for Royal Hypertext Preprocessor. And now there's like, is this really going to happen? Are people going to write this just for funsies?
Right? Like, why not? Right?
Sounds like a hackathon project for tech.
Hey, I like that. And we do have some talks on how to write extensions too. Ooh, that could be fun. Be a lot of fun. All right, cool.
So, thank you to our Discord, everyone that participates in Discord. It's so much fun in there.
Yeah. We had another link shared with me and another Slack channel I was in that I ended up sharing with our Discord channel. That I don't know. I mean, I was feeling all right about it, and then John really made me feel crappy about it. But it's called PHP Lands, and
I don't understand how it made you feel crappy about it.
Because I was okay when I'm like, well, they don't have any podcast listed on here. So the fact that they don't have our podcast doesn't mean anything. But yes, there is, in fact, a podcast listed here. I forget where it's at, though. I think it's over here somewhere, right?
I think it was a little further down, but I forget exactly where it was.
Yeah.
But it was, crap, it wasn't Roundtable.
It was Town Hall.
Oh, yeah, PHP Town Hall.
Yeah, PHP Town Hall is listed on here, and we're not listed on here, which sucks. And then to make it even sting even a little bit more, PHP Architect isn't listed in here anywhere. Which I'm like, come on, you don't want to give us some love? And look, I mean, tell me this isn't like the perfect place for PHP Ugly to be, right? Big old skull. Come on, I love semicolon planes. This is awesome. But yeah, PHP Architect wasn't on here, which I was actually genuinely surprised at PHP Architect, because, I mean, 2002? PHP
Right.
Architect has been not only been a part of PHP, but specifically a part of the PHP community and trying to make the PHP community a better thing. So, I mean, that is to zero credit of John and I. We just took over operations of PHP Arch back in 2021, so it's, we're not taking credit for that by any means, but I was surprised to see that it wasn't listed on here anywhere.
So
we'll
open a PR.
Delusions. I think we can take that one.
What was that? What was that, Tom?
The Lagoon of PHP Delusions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and you can actually open up a PR for us, so you can add locations. I'm not suggesting our listeners bombard them with pull requests. I'm just saying,
You're just demanding it.
I'm just saying, if there is a way to add locations for entries that you can open a pull request for if you wanted to for PHP Ugly and
So-
or Roundtable.
So that's not to add a location on the map like that. That's to add a pin to the location.
well, but aren't all the locations pins? I'm pretty sure
No.
all the locations are pins. No?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No?
Not all of them. I mean, that wouldn't necessarily get your name on the map. If you open a PR, it's just going to put a pin there. It's not going to change the map itself.
Oh, crap. Then
So
you're right.
then people need to know. They would have to click on the pins, and then search each pin.
Which is not easy. It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Like Laravel has a whole Gulf Coast. Yeah. So I think we start a campaign. Whoever put this together, first off, bravo.
Yeah, it's
this
pretty
is
cool.
like this is super slick. I mean, even the art, like I want this, well, minus the pins, like without the pins. I want this to like hang behind me. Like I want this on my wall. This is pretty slick. Well, I would have to pull like a Trump. I would have a Sharpie and like put PHP Ugly in there with a little circle around it. But yeah, this is pretty cool, man. I don't know how you have this much time to do this sort of thing. PHP Office? Like what even is PHP Office? Come on, move. Like this is what I end up doing. PHP Office, a set of pure PHP libraries for reading and writing spreadsheets. Word. Oh, of course, PHP Office. Duh. Okay, yeah. Deprecation Desert. I mean, come on. It's just like the creativity here is just off the chart. Or off the map, see? I mean, so, great work, man. Great work for sure. All right. I feel like we just did an ad, but we're going to dive into another ad because I have a schedule here that I'm trying to keep to. So,
oh my gosh, we're running long.
I know, right? Like, where did that other 42?
I mean, we still got more to talk about. That's what I mean. We're almost at an hour as is.
Yeah, and I need to get Honey Badger in there. So here's a little word about Honey Badger.
When you're in production, 1,000 things can go wrong. You could deploy a bug in your latest release. Your background jobs can silently fail. Someone could trip over the network cable at your data center, and this all comes back to you. You need to know when bad things happen and be able to respond to them quickly. That's why we built Honey Badger. It's easy to install Honey Badger in your back-end applications and front-end JavaScript. It only takes a few minutes of configuration and you'll have monitoring done. That's because we hook into popular web frameworks, job systems, and the browser, so that when any of them crash, we can automatically let you know. We ping your application from our global fleet of servers to let you know about problems with connectivity, latency, and SSL certificates, and we monitor your recurring jobs to see if any of them stop recurring. When there's a problem, we alert your team using the tools you already use. We can create issues in GitHub, Jira, and other issue trackers, and send notifications via Slack, PagerDuty, or other channels. When you click through, you'll be taken to detailed information on the error. You'll see things like request parameters, headers, user information, and the backtrace. Click on any line of the backtrace to view it in GitHub, Bitbucket, or your local editor. When you fix a problem, just mark it resolved and follow up with the affected user. That's Honey Badger. We're the monitoring tool for web developers who'd rather be, well, developing.
Thank you,
Thank
Honey
you,
Badger.
Honey Badger.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So what else do we have? All right. So we're talking about new releases. Well, I want to actually I need to change these cards around. Let me start with this one here first. Did you guys know, or I don't know if it's a new thing, like GitHub had this concept of being able to code through their interface, but now they offer code spaces where it's like your entire development environment. Are you familiar with this at all? Matter of fact, I don't even have it up. I don't have the right link here. Let me see if I can get the right link here. Code Spaces. It's what it's called. Code
I'm not
Spaces.
seeing this.
Dude.
I think I got an invite to it. I never checked it out.
Yeah.
There's no PHP template.
This is my issue, right? This is like how could there not be a PHP interface for this? But I don't know, man. I mean, again, this is one of those things where it's like, all right, PHP Storm already has something like this. PHP Storm has what's it called? I forget what theirs is called. Spaces. Maybe it's just called Spaces. I forget what PHP Storms is called, but PHP Storm or JetBrains has this service that you can essentially spin up your whole development environment in the cloud, tie your ID into it, and just develop, and everything's in the cloud, and fine. And I guess GitHub now has this as well, with GitHub Code Spaces. It's pretty slick. Obviously, it fires up in VS Code. Although I thought I saw it like a JetBrains logo. Like
yes, you can connect JetBrains to your code space.
Oh, you can. Where do you see that?
I have a doc here on how to do it.
Okay.
Pulled up specifically just because I know you love documents so much.
I do. But this stuff is, I mean, this, do you guys feel like this is the future of development for us, as far as, not with Docker, and everybody was running Docker locally, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, why are we running it locally? Let's just put it out there in the cloud so we don't have to worry about it. We don't have to worry about our performance.
But what do you do when shit breaks?
Well, I mean, shit breaks on local development environments all the time, right? I mean,
that's what I mean. What do you do? Like in my local development environment, I can fix stuff that breaks. I spent an hour today on a MySQL problem. But like when it's in the cloud and you don't have really low level access to your stuff, what do you do?
That's a great question. Well, and that was my question. Is like I use things like CouchDB, and we'll try all these like new services. Will that start to be like a choke point for like GitHub? Where like, oh hey, no, you have to use a relational database because we're not going to give you access to anything that's not a relational database. I don't think I would use it. I mean, I think the concept is cool, and as I explained many times on the show, and I so wish you would consider being a sponsor of tech or sponsor of this podcast. But ever since I got hooked up with Tailscale, so much of this stuff has fallen to the wayside to me, because now my desktop is that remote development machine. So if I'm remote on my laptop working, I work off my development off my desktop here at the office. If I'm on my iPad, I'm working off my desktop here at the office, and that's all because of Tailscale. But kind of the same concept, right? It's like I can configure it, and if I have a problem, if there's something goes sideways, I can fix it. So yeah, but the concept of not being tied down to one machine to do your development is always kind of been one of those pipe dreams that some developers had. Obviously not you, Tom. And John, you don't seem to give a shit.
It doesn't work for me for a number of security reasons, getting it cleared with personal information and stuff like that. And I just like having it on my computer.
Yeah, it's just I've used GitHub as far as like trying to jump around to make small changes, and it works, but I can't imagine changing my workflow that much to use it. But I don't know.
Yeah. All right. That's fair. That's fair. I was just curious, just something I had come across, and I thought, but kind of along those same lines. Like I said, you have to use VS Code. Tom said that he came across some documentation that would allow you to tie PHP Storm into code spaces, but we had talked in the past about the fact that when Microsoft bought GitHub, now they had two competing code IDEs. Is VS Code considered an IDE? No,
Yeah.
it is. Okay.
Yeah.
VS Code and Atom, which was GitHub's kind of editor, before they were bought by Microsoft. GitHub had Atom, Microsoft had VS Code, and of course there was PHP Storm in Vim and all these others.
Now, see, I remember when Atom came out, and it was exclusively the land of hippies who were using Ruby on Rails for everything.
No, not Atom. You're thinking of oh, what's that? Sublime. You're thinking of Sublime.
Oh, right, Sublime Text.
Yeah, Sublime Text was the Ruby. No, Atom was groundbreaking. It was like the first Electron editor that was all, or no, it wasn't Electron. It was JavaScript, right? Or is Electron JavaScript? I forget. Either way, it was supposed to be like approachable for developers. It was the editor for developers by developers to allow developers to develop. And it was like this whole thing, right? And then of course VS Code kind of followed in suit with kind of the approach of Atom. So Atom, the way I remember, Atom was came to market first, then VS Code followed behind. And I was a big Atom fan when it was released. I mean, I liked it.
They say it's worth reflecting that Atom has served as the foundation for the Electron framework, which paved the way for the creation of thousands of apps, including Visual Studio Code, Slack, and GitHub Desktop.
Okay.
So it sort of brought Electron with it, I guess, and everyone started using Electron.
Something's going on with your mic there, bud.
Yeah, you stop moving around. We're losing you.
Be very still.
Yeah, like don't even move your head, and stop breathing so much. Just
almost did that.
Well, anyways, Atom is now being sunsetted. So there is officially going there actually next week, right? December 15th. Yeah, next Thursday is the official sunset of the Atom editor, which cool. I mean, it was a cool thing, and GitHub did a great work in developing it, and when they got bought, they didn't. Oh, look, they even talk about code spaces here. Look, reliable software development to the cloud via Microsoft Visual Studio Code and GitHub code spaces. Look at that. Didn't even catch that the first time.
It's not showing in your window view there, but that's fine.
Oh, was it not showing?
No.
Oh, dope. I always forget. I got two views here, so yeah, it's there though. Is it there yet? Am I showing yet? Where am I? Right there. Anyways, so yeah, that is being sunset. I thought that was cool. That's kind of one of those little footnotes in development history right there. I feel like.
Yeah, but it's nice that it goes away instead of sits around forever and slowly rots.
I mean, true. That's true. I mean, do you have anything in particular in mind with that one?
I just the fact that there was an interesting comment on externals about removing OS2 specific code.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of thing where I worry that PHP, sometimes people say PHP is moving too fast, but like this guy said, oh yeah, the last release of OS2 was 2001. Maybe we don't need to support OS2 in PHP 8.2. And yeah, that's fine. Please remove that.
But isn't there somebody still relying on it? Wasn't that part of that whole conversation?
I don't think so.
Oh,
There was really only one comment on the conversation, and it was just like, yeah, go ahead. You know, we had NetWare and BOS support for a while as well that I had to remove. I couldn't imagine somebody running the latest PHP on an OS2 machine.
that is true.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, as far as editors go, we were talking about editors a second ago. And we all know I have a particular preference towards Vim, and of recent years, NeoVim has been a real thing for me. And I always feel bad because people always ask for advice on how to configure their NeoVim for PHP development, and I'm like, hey man, I go grab this guy's project and I run from there. But now I have somewhere to point people. I don't know if either one of you know Jess Archer. She works for Laravel now. She's done a lot of stuff with JMac, Jason from Laravel Shift. But she's a big NeoVim Tmux user, and I'm a huge Tmux user now. Like I have really Michael Dorinda got me on board with the whole Tmux thing. I used to never understand why I would use Tmux when all my terminal apps had the ability to do splits and tabs, and I just didn't bother with Tmux. But now it's complete. I have Tmux all the time. Like it's just always there. Jess is putting together a great series on Laracast on how to configure NeoVim and Tmux. I'm sure because I watched the Tmux one today, and I even took something away from it. These have locks on them, so I assume these are premium, and the ones that don't have locks might be free. I haven't watched this whole series, honestly, because I swear to God, I can't watch another. This is how you use Vim motion video. I just can't watch any more of them.
I'm so proud of you.
But if you don't know, maybe you want to watch it, and how she's configured her NeoVim and how she configures her Tmux, which, like I said, she showed me a nifty little trick that I like.
Just to be clear on motions, because it's not that you're sick of watching it. It's motions is the most basic usage of Vim. So you don't want to, you don't need to watch how to move up and down and quit.
And everybody, I mean, it's the low hanging fruit on Vim 101 is our movements and motions, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't go through another one of these videos. And not that it's bad, not that there's anything wrong with it. And if you need to learn it, you definitely want to watch it. I know it and don't care to watch to watch any more of them. So I just can't. Let's see. You know what? Let's go ahead and fire up our Patreon supporters. We said we had more people to thank here, and our Patreon supporters are one of them. They're there for us, and we appreciate them. And I'm dragging on and talking slowly for a reason, because what? We have a new Patreon supporter, Tori B. Yeah, is it Tori?
I can't tell.
I don't know.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tori B. So yeah, all our Patreon supporters, we do love you very much, and we try to show you that love every now and then with special messages and secret things. So if you're a Patreon supporter, you know what some of those things are. And actually, one of those things.
Good.
I was going to say, one of those things is a or a special channel in our Discord called the Herd, where all the Patreon supporters can hang out. So that's a
It's
thing.
for our dark secrets.
Exactly.
Actually, I hung out with Champ probably just over an hour last week. We played a little Rocket League after the show. It was fun. We jumped into Discord, Hangout, Huddle, whatever the audio channel is called, and just played Rocket League.
Is Champ a Patreon supporter? Because I do not see
He-
Champ on here.
He was.
Oh,
on
there
the
he is.
last- I was gonna say
Yeah.
he was on there.
Right there. Champ.
Yep.
Thank you, Champ.
It
Did you
was
see
fun.
that the Fortnite wormhole thing is in Rocket League now?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
There's big rumors about Rocket League getting upgraded to Unreal Engine 5 soon.
Oh, they've been talking about that for a long time, I thought.
Well, it looks like there's like hints
I thought that
it's
was-
happening soon.
I thought that was done when they enabled audio. No?
No.
I thought that was like one of the big holdbacks on why they didn't have audio channels in game.
No, it's people on the internet are right. They didn't have audio channels. Yeah, people on the internet are awful. As a person on the internet, I can confirm this.
So because they had them for a while, they removed them. I noticed.
I think so.
I have no idea about anything in Rocket League, so I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
See,
But-
I bring it up because you mentioned NeoVim, which I don't know anything about or care about.
Well, you're in luck, Tom, because the NeoVim conference starts tomorrow. It's a virtual conference. It's free for all, and you can learn everything you'd possibly want to know about the NeoVim ecosystem tomorrow. So I needed to put that in there because
But when it ends, you can't close the window.
well, it doesn't end. Yeah,
It just doesn't end.
yeah, that joke never gets old.
Never.
the Primogens were hosting, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of their thing. The Primogen and TJ is the guy who behind Telescope. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So all right, that is there. Let me move that card over.
Already done.
You're awesome. All right. The only other things I have on here, I think all the rest of the stuff is mine. Nothing we need to get to. We're running a little long.
Yeah.
I will say, if you're a System 76 Pop OS person, you might be excited to know that I guess Pop OS has decided to skip the next version of GNOME, or I guess the next version of GNOME is out and they've skipped it, or the next one that's coming out they're skipping. Anyways, Pop OS or System 76 is building their own desktop version, separate from GNOME, using Rust. I'm very excited about this. So
I think they've been talking about that one for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. The only other thing I want to I didn't give their credit last week on this. I will mention it this week. But Laravel did get recognition in the latest GitHub Universe conference. They received an award. What is this? Took home the Global
Grandiose.
Global Grandiose Open Source Award celebrating Laravel. So I don't know what it was up against. Is this, all open source? I don't know. But yeah, Laravel got some recognition. And this is good for PHP, right? This is good for PHP, despite the fact that apparently GitHub didn't decide to add PHP to their code spaces. But yeah, this is cool. Credit to Laravel.
I don't know. I'm afraid we're elevating Taylor a little too much nowadays.
Nah.
He's gonna turn it. He's gonna pull an Elon Musk on us and go completely nuts.
Yeah. All right. that's really, really pretty much everything I have.
Well,
Guys,
Yeah.
have you guys played with the Chat GPT at all?
everybody's talking about this, and it looks so cool. And no, I haven't.
No, I have not.
It's interesting. I mean, like, the thing is that it's very sure of itself. So if you ask it a question, it will give you an absolute answer, even if it's completely wrong. And it knows a lot of pop culture stuff, which is interesting. But it also knows programming, so you can actually ask it to like program something for you in PHP or in Go or in Rust, and it'll pipe out mostly functional code, very similar to Copilot.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can tell it to code things for you, and it will code things for you?
Yeah. And you can even you can make references to things like pop culture references. You know, I'm gonna have it describe the PHP Ugly podcast.
I can't seem to get logged into it, so I'm not going to do anything with it. I was trying to share it with everybody, but it is not happy.
Here's where it's both right and wrong. It says PHP Ugly is a podcast that focuses on the PHP programming language. The podcast features discussions and interviews with PHP developers, as well as news and updates in the PHP community. The hosts of the podcast, Eric Van Johnson and Tom Rideout, bring a humorous and lighthearted approach to the subject matter, making it enjoyable for both experienced and beginner PHP developers.
I mean, it sounds right to me.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Really?
And yeah, and
I
you
wanna
know,
cry.
you can tell it try again, and it comes up with a completely different response. So like the prompt that I give it is not going to produce the same results as the prompt that you give it. But if it's really about something that it doesn't know about, it'll just sort of scour its mind and make up something.
Really? What's the
Yeah.
point of it making up something? I mean, that's not very AI-ish. That's more like, that's more like Tom Rideout AI. It's like, I don't know,
Because it
but
has
I'll make something up.
Yeah. That's exactly. It's imitating a human perfectly. I pride myself on my ability to imitate a human.
Cool. Yeah. What's the purpose of this thing? I mean, is this something you think people are going to use?
So you can actually give it like a concept, and it runs in a session that maintains that concept. So I can tell it, act as if you are a chef reviewing food, and then I can start giving it items of food to review. Or act as if you're a tech support. Act as if you are tech support for a computer company, and support my requests.
I had a friend of mine show me an AI because he knows I'm running the magazine. And he showed me an AI where he could ask the AI about a certain topic, like Laravel containers, right? And this AI would basically puke out a whole article on Laravel containers along with, and this was the cool thing about it. So the article would be, he like he said, he's like, it's about 80% there. Like you definitely have to read it, and you have to clean it up, you have to fix it. But the really, really cool thing about it is it cites its sources. So as it pukes out this article, at the end of the article, actually, within the article, it'll put the little annotations of, hey, this
footnotes.
is this. Yeah, the footnotes.
So
And then it'll list all its sources of where it got that information from.
there is a similar thing here where you can get sources of information, but one of the things is that it makes up sources of information.
Again, that seems anti-productive to me. That does not seem good.
Well, it's interesting. So if you ask it for information on something that's totally fictional, it'll come up with something, and then it'll link to a Wikipedia article that looks like it should exist for this fictional thing, but when you click it, it's a 404. So like it's crazy. It does weird stuff.
Roger in our Discord says, Eric, you can. I assume he's talking about the chat AI. Eric, you can also pass it code and ask it to find the error.
Paste in
Wow.
code. So he's basically saying, Eric, all the code you write, you should paste in there, right? I think he was calling you out and being mean.
He says, Pat. Oh, were you being mean to me?
He
says pass.
Wrote Pat. He meant paste. Come on.
Well, but you made it sound like I couldn't read that correctly. So, are you being mean to me, Roger? That's hurtful. What does Buttery say? Its actual brief purpose is to generate human-like prose based on the input. What? It isn't designed to actually be correct or anything. Okay, well. Roger says he's not being mean. He says you guys are being jerks, and this is why chat AI doesn't recognize you, John. I might have been reading more into that than he actually wrote, but all right. What do you think? Discord, are we done?
Wrap it. We're done.
We all finished?
Do you want to hear the ad for Honey Badger that ChatGPT came up with?
You know what? I absolutely do want to hear that.
Introducing honeybadger.io, the perfect solution for monitoring and debugging your application errors. With Honeybadger, you'll be able to easily track and fix errors in your code, helping you to keep your application running smoothly and avoid frustrating downtimes. Our advanced error tracking features and intuitive user interface make it easy to pinpoint and fix errors so you can focus on building and improving your application. Plus, our exceptional customer support team is always here to help you with any questions or issues that may arise. Try honeybadger.io today and experience the power of error tracking and debugging. You'll be glad you did.
I'm pretty sure that's almost like the commercial we run, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
I don't think it did anything creative there. All right. Okay. Well, that's it. What, Tom? You sound like you got more you want to share.
I had it rerun the prompt of generating an ad for honeybadger.io and got the other ad that we run for Honeybadger.
What did all right, see now John's how did you get logged in?
I wanted to
and crashes.
I didn't want to do it on here. I was trying to wrap up, but I thought it was funny. I shared it in Discord.
No, this is actually very good. You need to share it with the audience now.
I just said, write an ad for PHP Architect. Are you a skilled PHP developer looking to take your career to the next level? Look no further than PHP Architect. Our publication offers in-depth articles, tutorials, and insights from industry experts on a wide range of PHP-related topics. Whether you're just starting out in the world of PHP or you're a seasoned veteran, PHP Architect has something for you. Subscribe today and join the ranks of the world's top PHP developers.
That's actually really good. You know that, right? Do tech.
We gotta wrap this up. Nobody wants to say other people can do this.
All right, fine. Okay, that's it. Episode 314 is in the book. I'm Eric.
Are you looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and developments in the world of PHP? Then PHP Tech is the conference for you. Our annual event brings together the best and brightest in the PHP community to share their knowledge and experiences. With a lineup of expert speakers, hands-on workshops, and networking opportunities, PHP Tech is the ultimate destination for anyone looking to advance their skills and stay ahead of the curve in the world of PHP. Don't miss out. Register today. I'm John.
I'm Tom.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John, you know that he's smart and quiet. Unlike my freestyles which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting, I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube. Hope you guys are having fun. And it was an honor and blessing to do this little custom freestyle for y'all. Hope you enjoy. Stay up.
Playing.
Yeah. Come on. Hey.
Thank you. All right. I do Discord title suggestions. I saw a couple come in. Let me see if we can get that. Yeah, I'll show you my little workflow here. Where are we at here? I think I go to what is it? Titles? PHP Ugly titles, and then I just do a little VI PHP Ugly. Where's the titles? Titles are in here. Wait, what? Oh, it's just called titles. That's why. Titles. Yeah, go all the way down. So we got a couple here. Last day lemonade. Tech Talk, PHP 8.2 release party. That's a good one. An AI writes our script. No, if an AI wrote our script would be better. So titles. Who wants to pick a title? Which one do you want?
You're muted, Tom.
Last Day Lemonade.
Last Day Lemonade. Okay, that's fine. I'll do Last Day Lemonade.
Oh my god!
But that's gonna be what's amazing.
It really doesn't like you, John.
I don't blame it.
I had it write a script for an episode of PHP Ugly, and it's me, Eric, and Sarah.
Hey, I do need to give credit to my kid. They actually did our thumbnail last week. The PHP retirement party.
I think marketing wise, we need to go PHP 8.2 release party. I think it'll get more clicks when we email it out and all.
Not even release party, just what's new in PHP 8.2.
But there's so many of those out there.
Exactly, because everybody clicks on them. New things in PHP 8.2. I think that's what we're going to do. New things in PHP 8.2. Yeah. No, not new things. All right, you want to do 8.2 release party? We'll do 8.2 release party. Then 8. Cool.
I liked it.
Right, that's fine. That's what we'll go with. All right, yank it. That's it now. I should go ahead and run. I should just go and do all my post show stuff here with you guys. That would be fun, right?
Or the drama around PHP 8.2. Because we brought in the Krill talk about
releases
not moving. Yeah.
I didn't see the Krell thing. I need to read that.
There were a couple of those types of conversations going on. Oh, the other one was Ed's article, which we haven't talked about.
Yeah, I need to look at that one.
Because his is very similar in that vein.
Oh, I just realized I made a mistake there. Yep, I did. There we go. Write it. Quit it. Okay. What do I do? I always forget how I do my Oh, that's what I do. I go to DD Office. Actually, is where I go, and I do my Artisan Trello show notes, and I export to this. So we do PHP 8.2 release,
Party.
and
Couple.
these are show notes. So don't worry.
Ah.
I mean, we can do yeah, we can do release party. That's fine. Release party. No, just release. What else did we talk about? This is where I have to go back over to the Trello board. See what else we talked about.
I'm not gonna last long tonight. I feel like crap.
Yeah,
Okay.
my wife is sick, and I feel like I'm getting it.
That's funny because I was sick last weekend, and Beck is not feeling well today.
At least you didn't go to the hospital.
Talk submissions. What else did we talk about?
I added more to our schedule Excel sheet, Eric. Like, just
Yeah, I
themes.
saw that.
Themes it's really just like making sure we cover those topics with our selections.
And we talked.
So
heavy
feel free to
themes.
add. Feel free to add to that.
And then we'll export that. That actually creates our show notes for us. And then we just run it again I do a TXT. Back, TXT. For YouTube. All right. And that's how show notes are made. So now, like if I VI, what is it, Dropbox? Nope. I still can't get used to the squiggly line here on my new keyboard. It's in this really weird spot. Dropbox, scratch,
Tab.
show
Tab.
notes.
There you go.
And boom, and that creates our show notes for us, including all our Patreon supporters. Should have Tori in it. Yep, has Tori. Or Tori. Cool. Okay, cool. That's how show notes are created, people. For those who are wondering, should be good. We do a markdown with links for, and then I just drop this into our services, and Tori's there too. Sweet. All right. Well, I'm sorry you two aren't feeling great. I hope it's not too bad. Tom, I'm glad you didn't die on us. That's always a plus.
Yeah. Plus, I got this cool heart pulse oximeter.
There you go. All right. I guess kill the stream, or you guys want to chat some more? Kill the stream. All right.
I'm leaving. I gotta go to bed. Thanks everyone for watching.
Actually, I need this browser here. I need a. You're going to be our thumbnail. What's your name? Your name is. I need to stop sharing. I need to stop sharing my screen. Yes, you're going to be our thumbnail, Tom. Look panicked like the doctor is doing a bunch of stuff to you, because they are. Hold on one second. Go ahead. Cool.
Got it.
Yep. I'll make that work. That is your thumbnail. You got 2 sleeping cats. You look good.
I do.
All right. How do I?
One of them is snoring.
Okay. Let me kill the stream. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. It was a great time.